Very beautiful morning to you once again. Welcome this morning. This is Perspectives Unlimited right here on Wales Radio 89.3 FM, your preferred wholesome radio. Perspectives Unlimited is that platform where we go beyond the news to help you make sense of some of the stories across our various national dailies and a bit to keep you abreast about happenings because the conversation that concerns the growth of Nigeria is a conversation of you and I. It's something that you and I have to always talk about and make effort to get a greater Nigeria. So good morning and welcome again this morning. My name is Toluwaleke Alli, and we're currently live on Facebook. You can watch us live on Facebook at Wales Radio 893 FM fan page. At Wales Radio 893 FM fan page. And we are also live on YouTube at Wales Radio 89.3 FM. At Wales Radio 89.3 FM. So together with the analyst in the studio this morning, we will be analyzing some of the various stories that we have in the national dailies for this morning. But first, let's take a look at the front pages across some of our national dailies this morning. Today, Wednesday, the 24th of December, 2025. On the front page of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper for this morning, INEC rejects Turaki's faction's request for recognition, and it has a rider cites pending lawsuits. The story is on page 8 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper this morning. Tax Reforms Act, NBA calls for suspension, probe. That's on page 21. 2 Rivers PDP senators, 6 reps defect to APC. And the story is on page 4 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper for this morning. The lead story on the front page of the newspaper reads, Destruction of PDP dangerous for Nigeria's democracy. That's according to Makinde, and it has a couple of riders. Says Wike at a meeting promised Tinubu he would hold PDP for him. I regret backing him in 2023. Adelabu doesn't have capacity to organize Oyo APC for president. And the story is on page 3 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper for this morning. Nigeria falls short of oil revenue target in the first half of 2025, Budget Office reports, and that's on page 6. Awujale stool, Kwam1 withdraws suit to stop process. And stories on page 21 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. 2026 budget, senators insist on implementation, and it has a rider as 58.47 trillion naira appropriation bill scales second reading. And that story is on page 2. Ekiti takes the lead, domesticates Nigeria Tax Administration Act. And it has a rider, Oyebanji signs Ekiti State Revenue Administration Law, 415.57 trillion naira 2026 budget. And that's on page 8. The final story on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper for this morning. NIN becomes automatic tax ID for Nigerians. And it has a rider as CAC number emerges official identifier for businesses. And that is on page 5 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. On the front page of the Daily Trust newspaper this morning, kidnappers collected 2.57 billion naira in ransom in 1 year. That's according to a report. Kidnappers collected 2.57 billion naira ransom in 1 year. And the story is on page 6 of the Daily Trust newspaper for this morning. Nigeria edged Tanzania in hard-fought AFCON 2025 opener. That's on page 30. Officers missing as terrorists attack civil defense posts in Niger. That's on page 10 of the Daily Trust newspaper for this morning. The lead story on the front page of the Daily Trust newspaper: tax laws face legitimacy crisis. Story begins on the front page and continues on pages 3 and 4 of the newspaper. All right, moving on. PDP crisis. INEC rejects Toluwaleke-led NWC. And that's on page 11. National Assembly passes 48.32 trillion naira revised 2025 budget. That's on page 23. 12 killed in Plateau, Kogi auto crashes. The story is on page 10 of the Daily Trust newspaper. And the final story: terrorists using POS machines for ransom collections. And that is on page 6 of the Daily Trust newspaper for this morning. And the Punch newspaper for this morning, on the front page above the masthead: 2027 Toluwaleke camp films as INEC rejects PDP exco. That's on page 2. NBA: Atiku demand new tax law suspension. That's on page 30. Yuletide rush: federal government orders contractors to keep highways open. That's on page 9 of the Punch newspaper for this morning. Wike promised to hold PDP for Tinubu, Makinde alleges. That's also on page 30 of the Punch newspaper. The lead story reads: budget crisis. NAS extends 2025 fiscal year to March. And it has a rider: Senate Reps pass revised 91.8 trillion naira 2024-2025 budget. 2026 appropriation bill passes second reading, and that's on page 2. Federal government orders takedown of terrorists' social media accounts. And that's on page 7. Still on page 7, measles death toll hits 153 in 11 months. Ekiti domesticates Nigeria Tax Administration Act. And that's on page 9 of the Punch newspaper. Akpabio mounts police escort killed by tanker. That's on page 30. Noun student collapses during test, dies. That's on pages 4 and 5 of the Punch newspaper. And the final story: court seizes land linked to Goodluck Jonathan estate. That's on page 7 of the Punch newspaper. And those are the stories across some of the front pages of our national dailies this morning. right, welcome back. Joining me in the studio this morning is our analyst, Chukwemeka Munachi. So good morning, Chukwemeka.
Good morning, Tolu.
All right, let us begin with this story in the Vanguard newspaper. Hardship. Federal government gets 52% of federation revenue. Stop blaming governors alone. And that's coming from Radha, the governor of Katsina State. Governor Diko Radha of Katsina State has urged Nigerians to stop blaming state governors alone for the country's worsening economic hardship, saying the federal government controls more than half of the nation's monthly federation revenue. Governor Radha of the All Progressives Congress, APC, and the chairman of the Northwest Governors Forum made the disclosure during an interview. And according to him, while public anger over rising hardship is often directed to governors and local government chairmen, the federal government receives the largest share of funds from the federation account. So, he said the revenue sharing formula leaves subnational governments struggling to meet growing demands despite widespread assumptions that governors control the bulk of the national resources. Questioning the impact of decades of federal control over the national revenue, the governor asked Nigerians to examine how funds retained at the center have been utilized over the years. And his remarks are coming amid mounting pressure on state governments to account for increased allocations following the removal of fuel subsidy.
Yeah, what Radha is saying is what every Nigerian knows. We're in a period of economic strain and public disillusionment. You understand? The federal government has a role to play. The governors themselves are not utilizing what they receive from the federal government. I remember vividly when the governor of Lagos State, Sanwo-Olu, told Nigerians that governors are receiving 3 times more than what they have been receiving before. This man that is talking, this governor Radha of Katsina, is he not the one who used almost over 680 million to renovate cemetery? Imagine if he has used that money judiciously for the good of the living than the dead. Do you think he'll be saying what he's saying? You see, check it. He was the one who used that money to renovate. If he didn't have enough, why should he remember to go to cemetery and be renovating cemetery? Was why he was it the dead that elected him? It was the living, and I'm sure the Katsina State has the highest number of children that suffer from malnutrition. Google it, you will see it. So it's just a game blame, and the people that bear the brunt are the citizens. The federal government itself is not transparent. The governors are not transparent. So asking Nigerians to hold federal government responsible, how do we do it? Through which channel do we hold federal government responsible? You see, they are all playing games, game blame. And we know that Nigeria is a country where we make excuses for the failure of those that we call leaders. We will excuse them. We say they are not receiving enough. But another governor said you are receiving 3 times more than you have been receiving. And now you are telling Nigerians that they want given to you. What have you done with it? Google that thing. You will find out this man was the one who used over 680 million to renovate cemetery. And other governors are spending like drunken sailors the things they receive from the federal government. So who do we look at the roads? Look at the roads. Look at we are still fighting whether to grant autonomy to local government. Who brings development to the people at the grassroots? Local government chairmen. Where are they? They are nowhere to be found, because this is a system where the law is a lawless place. A place where people do things the way they like, because there is a reign of impunity. It didn't start with this administration. It has been on for a very long time, and we are getting worse and worse, mired into all these things I'm talking about as this morning. Because if Nigeria is a place where there is rule of law rather than rule of men, what we have, the amount rule of law is a lie, is a fallacy. What we have in Nigeria is rule of men. Men decide which law to obey and which law not to obey. And in such a society, development will be very far away. citizens will suffer. Because at the end of the day, big men will walk away with whatever they like. Nobody to hold them accountable. They despise court pronouncements. Imagine a country where Supreme Court, the apex court in the land, will make a pronouncement and the governors are still looking to know whether we will obey or not obey. Where does it happen? Except in Nigeria. And this man is saying that people should not be holding governors as responsible. The one he collected, what did he do with it? He went to the cemetery. Is that where he's supposed to go and invest the money?
All right, let's move on to another story. Still in the Vanguard newspaper, NBA Atiku seeks suspension of tax laws. The Nigerian Bar Association, NBA, has called for the suspension of the Tax Reform Act over alleged alteration of some sections in the gazetted version, as opposed to what was passed by the National Assembly. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar also called for the immediate suspension of the new tax laws over alleged alterations made after passage by the National Assembly, just as it tasked the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, to investigate the illegal and unauthorized alterations. It said the alleged changes represent a brazen act of treason against the Nigerian people and a direct assault on our constitutional democracy. Abubakar accused the executive of engaging in what he called a draconian overreach that undermines legislative supremacy and prioritizes revenue extraction over citizens' welfare. And this came as the two chambers of the National Assembly yesterday ignored the alteration controversies trailing the Tax Reform Act, which its implementation is scheduled to start on January 1, 2026 and proceeded on Christmas and New Year break that will end on January 27, 2026. So the lawmakers, however, approved the repeal and the reenactment of 2024-2025 budget before they went on the break. Now, this is another controversy again that is trailing this Tax Reform Act. The NBA is calling that it should be halted because there is alleged alteration that happened to the act after it was passed by the National Assembly.
Tolu, you know why I giggled? Because when you can't run away from your shadow, you understand? Your shadow will always follow you, except when you go into the dark, your shadow leaves you. We have cases of forgery in Nigeria, forgery everywhere. I cannot go down memory lane this morning to remind you how many forgery cases we have held in this country. We forged bishops. You remember? We went to get mechanic, gave them a bishop robe, and they paraded as bishops. We forged certificate. We forged our date of birth. We forged almost everything forgeable. So why are we so surprised that we have already forged the tax laws? You know, and that goes to show the kind of society that we are running and the kind of leadership that we have. Look, social capital has eroded seriously and the trust has faded. Nigerians, these are some of the reasons why Nigerians don't have trust in the institutions of the state. When you can come out and do something brazenly, because there are no consequences. Something as huge as tax laws that you know that this thing will definitely affect everybody in this country. We are now playing scale with it. We are not saying if it's for, this is not the one we approved. This is the one we. Why are we doing this? Because the institutions that we call the people to the leaders to order, we don't have them. They have been corrupted. If we have an institution, that's why I keep saying no country will prosper without institutions that are rooted in the rule of law. It doesn't work. To look at the countries that have made progress in the world, you will discover that they have strong institutions. But when you corrupt the judicial system, you corrupt it through your political through your political sagacity or whatever they call it. you have already undermined that society. And there's nothing you cannot get away with. Because men cannot behave if they know that there are no consequences to their action. Now, that's exactly what we are seeing in Nigeria. There is no institution Nigerians have trust in. Is it in the justice system you have trust in? Nobody. Is it the police system? Just look at our country. Every day this thing bothers not only me, a lot of people who wish this country well. Because Nigeria should not continue to behave this way in this time and age. Let there be transparency in governance, transparency of action by the leaders of this country. You know that these things. Now, imagine what kind of example are we showing to the younger generation that are coming up? Something that if it's a Senate climb, hells will roll over this. People will lose. People will be impeached. People will be sent out of governance because you don't have to. But here, everything we roll on. Everybody, we just forget about it, and they will come up and begin to speak from both sides of the mouth. It is not done. This thing is the aggression against the people of this country. Serious one. And look at the way we are treating it. We see it as there's no alteration. It's just a minor alteration. We put something. We did. Look at what we do during budget padding. Has anybody been sanctioned? So why should it not go here? Look at what we do during our election. Look at the alteration, everything, and we let it pass. At the end of the day, we come back to school, and we are wondering why the country is not prospering. Why will the country prosper? Where you have forgery all over the place, where there's no iota of credibility in whatever we do. It can't. Now, if these people will go on recess, when are they coming back to make amends?
27th
to look at the thing. And the implementation will start by January 1st. I stand with the MPA that this thing should be suspended until we know exactly what are you cooking for Nigerians. Let us know. What ingredients do you put in the food you want to serve us? Let us know. Is it poisonous or not poisonous? Then to come out and fly this, and Nigerians will keep. You say that those who, if anybody receives above how many 800,000 in this thing, the person will be exempted from any form of taxation. How many minimum wage is how much? 70,000. Now you are coming again that NIN and whatever it should not be used. Does it mean that if somebody has NIN, is a proof that he's paying tax? I don't know how we are going to unravel, but the issue is that if we are running a country where there is rule of law, not rule of men, and institutions are not weakened by corruption, this tax reform, this thing, they should be suspended until. But which institution will look at it and come and tell us the truth? Which one? There is none. Do we have trust in any one of them? No. Will they not be manipulated? Yes. So what are we going to say? So the most important thing is, if these things are mired in controversy, suspend it. If you know you are transparent, if you know that what you want to give to Nigerians are for their own good, suspend it until everybody is in the know of what is in the book. Not that we do another voodoo something. People don't even know anything. You don't run a country this way and expect it to prosper. I believe that put all the cards on the table. Let people know where you are going to. As a leader, let people know that this is what I want to do. And carry them along. That's where it becomes easier for you to be a leader. When you are leading people that don't even know where you are going to, you are taking a walk in the dark because nobody is following you. And you keep on believing that you have all the... You don't have. Without the people, you can't be there. So people must be respected. Nigerians must not be abrogated because you want to remain in power. No. Capital, no. Because without the people, there's no governance. You can't even have a leader. You are called a leader because there are people around you. Imagine where they remove all Nigerians and throw us to the desert and we stay there. You are here alone. Who will you say you are leading? Birds or animals? That is the thing. There's no respect for Nigerians. When they trample on us on a daily basis, and this aggression against Nigerians must stop.
All right, you can be a part of the conversation this morning. Go onto our Facebook page at Wells Radio 893 FM fan page, at Wells Radio 893 FM fan page. Drop your comments right there, and we'll be sure to take your comments this morning. Or you can call the phone lines 0916 893 1000, 0916 893 1000 or 0915 333 4893. 0915 333 4893. You can also call 0911 33 33 893. 0911 33 33 893 or drop your WhatsApp messages on 0915 4999 893. 0915 4999 893.
89.3 FM, your preferred wholesome radio.
Christmas, my favorite time of the year.
Hello everyone, my name is Ayo Emmanuel Ojo. As a child, I look forward to Christmas season, especially because of the Hamilton. And that, of course, we go on holidays, Christmas Carol, the Father Christmas, and all of the church activity. Early enough in life, I realized that Christmas is not just about the rice and chicken. It's more about our Creator, our Lord Jesus Christ. But in between all of that, we can see the joy, the celebration, the giving. And looking back right now as an adult, I wish I could just, reverse back and experience that season again and then enjoy it to the fullest. And so from me, I'd like to say, compliment of the season, Merry Christmas. Let's remember that Jesus indeed is the reason for the season. It's not about Christmas tree. It's not about Father Christmas to make it all beautiful, but Jesus is indeed the reason for the season. And let's shine the light so bright that the world will see.
My name is Bolanle Odueku Ayola. Sharing a Christmas memory. For me, it was always going back home. To my grandparents to celebrate Christmas, and then having my cousins from all over the world, those who were in the United States, United Kingdom, Canada, Lagos, Abuja, those who were in the east, those who were in the north, would all come together, and it was fun because I was able to bond with my cousins. But unfortunately, these days, our children are not able to do that because of emigration. People are looking for greener pastures. So yeah, I miss that bond of family. Being able to bond with my cousins during the Christmas season. But anyway, if you can do that, please try to. I wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year in advance.
My name is Joseph Allen. I grew up in a family where Christmas was more than celebration. It was a time of consecration. It was a time of rethink. One thing that stood out for me while growing up was the decoration. Anytime I saw the decoration, I knew something was fast approaching. But when I became a bit mature, I discovered that, it was Christmas. And that alone signals something in me. It's always told me about the importance of the person we were celebrating. That Jesus Christ was someone who brought about change. And that change is so evident that you could even see it everywhere. You could see the decoration in the bank. You could see it even in eateries and everywhere, even in churches and some places that you would not even ever imagine. Christmas is about Jesus, and the decoration is about Jesus. But that decoration should not just be on places. It should not be on walls. It should not be on visuals alone. It should be on our heart. And as we celebrate Christmas this year, I want to implore you to decorate your heart with love and the love of Christ.
Hello, my name is Kemisola Williams. I could remember my experience. Your parents gives you food. You distribute it to people. We go to grandma's place and you keep moving from one place to another. A particular Christmas celebration, we took food, my sister, I, some of my siblings. We took food to people, family members, neighbors. I did not know that something more nutritious, more sumptuous is at home. By the time we got home, I was really full. And I have the food in front of me. I couldn't eat. And I started crying because I wanted that food, but there's no space in my tummy. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
So let's love each other and party like
Welcome back. This is still Perspectives Unlimited on Wales Radio 89.3 FM. You wanted to say something?
Yeah, Tolu, do you know that if we are a country where there is social cohesion, this issue about tax discrepancies, when it is transparently resolved, do you know what government should do? In order to carry people along, you print this thing in indigenous languages and distribute to the citizens who can read and write so that they will know what they are getting into. Do we do it here? We have the money. National Orientation Agency, what are they doing? What is their role? These are areas where education, you will educate the citizens. When you talk of human capital development, this is part of it. You translate whatever that you have you are bringing about taxation in Nigeria. You write it in indigenous languages and spread it among all the citizens. They will read it. If actually there is social cohesion in our kind of government, if the people in power know exactly that we want to carry Nigerians along, do this in local languages and let people understand what ABC of tax laws in Nigeria. That's the way it should be done.
All right, let's talk to this person before moving on to another story. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
My name is George. I'm calling you from Ologwe.
Welcome to the show, Mr. George.
I wish you people Merry Christmas.
Thank you so much, sir. Same to you, sir.
I know by the grace of God we are already in. And we will pass through it and face a brighter life afterward.
Amen.
Chukwemeka,
Yes, sir.
thank you for reminding us of the bishop before installation. Is it only bishop? We had Association of Nigeria Witches. We have so many associations that were supporting, marching through the streets of Nigeria, even not in Lagos, in Abuja, before the installation of our president. And we should not also forget that he promised us is going to continue from where Buhari started. Why are we expecting anything fantabulous from this administration? They will go now and come back and tell us that they have looked at this act concerning these taxes and that there is nobody changed anything there. And we will continue with it. And I trust Nigerians who will swallow it like that. Nothing will be done. If we really want to build a country, people must pay for the evil they committed. This issue of come to APC and every evil or everything you have committed is forgiven will never make this country any good. Thank you once again. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you too, sir. Thank you for your contribution on the show this morning. Let's move on to the Guardian newspaper. UN decries industry boom as abductors collect 2.57 billion naira in 1 year. The United Nations has expressed concern over the spate of indiscriminate abductions of civilians by bandits in Nigeria. Spokesperson for the UN Secretary General, Stefan Dujarric, said the continued attacks on civilians by bandits was unacceptable. This is as Nigeria's kidnap for ransom crisis generated at least 2.57 billion naira for criminal groups between July 2024 and June 2025, according to a new report by SBM Intelligence. The report, that was titled "The Year Ahead at an Inflection Point," analyzed economic and political developments that shaped Africa in 2025, and it found that kidnappers in Nigeria demanded an estimated 48 billion naira during the 12-month period, but received 2.57 billion naira. And according to the report, abductions have evolved into a structured, profit-driven industry amid worsening insecurity across the country. And according to the report, it was recorded that at least 4,722 abductions happened across 997 incidents during the period under review, and no fewer than 762 people were killed. Now, this report is coming out at a time where the federal government has ordered for the takedown of terrorist social media accounts. The federal government disclosed that Nigerian security agencies are working with social media companies to identify and take down accounts used by terrorists and criminal groups to promote their activities and to raise funds. And this was made known by the Director General of the National Counterterrorism Center, Major General Adamulaka, and said platforms such as TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, X had been used by terrorists to publicize their operations, to display their looted items, and communicate with supporters. Now, for a while now, Nigerians have actually been calling, especially using the social media platform TikTok. We've seen lots of these bandits come out to display ransoms that they've collected from Nigerians. You know, in fact, going as far as doing giveaway online. But now the government is now acting up to say we're going to ensure that we take down all of those accounts, while also mentioning that these terrorists use POS to collect the ransom, so making it difficult for the federal government to be able to track where the money is going to.
Look, Tolu, we should not be deceived with all these things. Government is going to. We are going to. United Nations is decrying the atrocities in Nigeria. Our government is going to. Our government is how do you, look, if government wants to deal decisively with terrorists and terrorism, they have the capacity to do so. Because all the instruments of cohesion are at their disposal. There is no society that treats terrorists with soft gloves that will not see what we are seeing. If government wants to really that Nigerians should have a breather, there is no way they will wait for United Nations to be decrying before they say we are going to. Do you know what you are saying? You are playing with the lives of your citizens. Are they interested? That's why when Nigeria air operators raised the airfare, our elected officials were crying because they don't want to use the roads. Nobody will kidnap you when you are flying. It is when you are using the road they will kidnap you. Look, Tolu, if government of Nigeria, federal government of Nigeria, decides today to deal decisively with terrorists and their sponsors, they know what to do. The issue of we are going to, nobody cares about what we are going to do. These people have been displaying their loot. Why did we do, when we are doing NIN and BVN and all those things, what did they tell us? They meant to do this. We'll be able to track them. Later they came out to say that the people that will operate the machine are not trained. We send them abroad. Are they still in training? We are not serious. Do you want to tell me that if this thing is happening in a normal country, you collect, look at 2.7 billion ransom in a year is an industry. And why we are not going to see the end of this is it has become an industry with a lot of stakeholders. That's why it is now a big business. When you talk of employment avenues, kidnapping should be put there because we have we have elevated it to a place where people are employed. A lot of stakeholders are involved. Do you think, Tolu, that if we are proactive society and our leaders want to stop this, that we'll be hearing all this, people will come on social media and display their what they got from kidnapping, and nobody, but go and do something against government. They even come to your house and pick you. They know where you are. Why are we not doing things that we ought to do? We wait for outside organizations. United Nations is crying, and now we are going to. You can pick your call.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. This is Adenka from Muslim.
Welcome to the show, Adenka.
Yeah, concerning tax, why should citizens willingly pay tax to government that has failed its most basic responsibility? So I think our government should be able to protect our lives from terrorists, bandits, and even reliable electricity. So because citizens we are struggling to pay tax and we are not seeing the effects of the tax. So come January 26, they should try and do something concerning the tax reform. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Tolu, National Security Advisor Nuhu Ribadu told the world that some of the arms and ammunition imported ended up as in wrong hands. Who has been prosecuted? IGP of police told there was a case of missing rifles. Where he said they should they doesn't want the public inquiry. It should be in camera. Who has been prosecuted? Who? Tell me who have you read that has been prosecuted? We are not serious. If we are serious about having law and order in Nigeria, we know what to do.
Hello.
Yeah, just calling back.
All right, welcome back, sir.
You see, the government is not serious. Let me join to Quebec president. You see, when we were young, we used to do one hide and seek game. You go and hide, then the one person will now come out and say, "Can I come?" You say yes. And one day, that is how we were doing it. My sister went to hide. I will be asking, "Can I come?" She will be saying yes. It's hiding though. Until we get to where she is hiding, we will ask, "Can I come?" She will still say yes. Then we will hold her. Look, you want to catch a thief. You are telling us the means by which you are going to use to catch them. Will you get there? Are they going to wait for you? Who is operating a POS that they paid money to, that you will now come to say, "Are you the one operating this POS? The pay social amount of money to you, and the armed robbers that paid it to you, that will come out for you." Why do you want to tell people that when the thief was coming, did he tell you I'm coming? Which type of government are we running? Good morning.
Good morning.
So
once
Tolu,
again.
we went to the banks. Said it is not. They don't have the right. That even if the money is passing through them, they don't have back and forth blames. At the end of the day, nobody has been tracked. Tell me who has been tracked. These people that are kidnapping people, Nigerians, taking them to the bush. You think they carry the money? They go to bank and put it. How do we come to the level? Do you think that if these things are happening in a country where there is sincerity and transparency, where there is law for the citizens, the first day you collect even 10,000 from people through kidnapping, they will catch you. They will know the way to catch you. But why are we doing it? Because there are a lot of stakeholders, a lot of people benefiting from this rot. That's why it has become an industry that if care is not taken, it will consume this country. Look at how fearful people are traveling. I did a show here as yesterday, and people were calling me that a lot of people are afraid of traveling in a country. People are afraid because some of them say they don't have the money, even if they kidnap them. Where will they get the money to be ransomed?
Aside from that, a lot of people who are coming in, especially from the southeast, the north central, and all of that, they're decrying how bad the roads are.
The roads are bad.
And 2 long hours in traffic.
Bini here yesterday, somebody called from Bini that they've been trapped in Bini, going to the southeast. What do they call this place? Abo, Asaba, all those places completely trapped. Where are the proceeds of all subsidy removal they pay to governors? What are they using it for? That is the thing. Because people don't ask questions. Now, when I was young, I was hearing this all subsidy, that the moment we remove all subsidy, we invest in critical infrastructure. The moment all the loan we collected, where did they use it to repair the roads? People that went to Abiyakuta here at our backyard, go and check. Once you pass that road, you take your motor to mechanic. What is happening in our country? And we say we have governance. What kind of governance is this? What is it? 2.7 billion ransom, kidnappers, not people working in a bank.
At least,
not people working in oil company. Kidnappers, 2.7 billion, and you tell me that industry will stop? And you tell me that government does not know what to do to stop those people from doing what they are doing? The government has everything to do. They know what to do. But the political will to do it is what they lack. We must tell ourselves the truth.
0916-893-1000, 0915-333-4893, or 0911-3333-893. Yesterday, Governor Makinde held a media chat, and quite a number of things came out from that. He talked about how he was qualified to become president, and how the minister of the FCC had just left law school when he made his first $1 million. But he also now mentioned that, he alleged rather, that Wike promised to hold PDP for Tinubu. So during the media chat, he broke his silence on the rift between him and the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory and disclosed that their fallout stemmed from Wike's declaration to hold down the People's Democratic Party for President Bola Tinubu's re-election in 2027.
You see, we don't need a prophet to know that Wike is holding down PDP. But who is holding it for is what we don't know. But we know that he's holding PDP. You understand? So what Sheyi Makinde said during the media chat.
While he was also speaking, he admitted to actually supporting President Tinubu in the 2023 elections.
He did. Well, everybody knew he did, and now he's no longer happy with what he did. Everybody knew he did. His body language, everything about him, but now he's no longer happy with what he did. And that is why whatever we do, there's always another day. The day after. You understand? If he's saying what he's saying in regret, well, but everybody knew. He said that Tinubu told him to hold APC, to organize APC, that Adedibu does not have what it takes to, and we know Adedibu does not have what it takes. We know. There's nothing Sheyi Makinde said that is not in the public domain. So we know that Wike is holding PDP for...
Isn't that an admission to anti-party?
He himself is involved. All of them, the G5 and whatever they call themselves, they scatter the party. So they are all involved. So what Wike is doing to them, they ask for it. And that's why there is a massive... people are leaving at the party. And the PDP would have been a formidable opposition. They scattered it. He himself is involved. He contributed largely to whatever PDP has become. So he's not only blaming Wike, he himself should be blamed. Because why should you be in PDP and you're supporting the president, a candidate of another party? He did it. We all knew during that 2023 election. Everybody knew. So he's coming out now to tell us is what we know already. And the TDP is already down, and I don't know whether it is out. But all of them they will all attend the funeral of the party if he eventually dies. All of them are involved. If you write the history of PDP, the rise and fall of PDP, Wike and the Sheyi Makinde name will be there, and the G5. What do they call this man from Enugu State? Uguanyi and Autumn. Autumn is down. Nobody is hearing about him again. All of them are involved. They're all undertakers of PDP.
All right, let's pick this particular story. This one is from the Daily Trust newspaper. Governor of Interior pardons farmer sentenced to death for killing herder. A farmer, Sunday Jackson, sentenced to death by the Supreme Court for killing a herder in self-defense, has been granted pardon by the Adamawa State Governor, Amadu Fintiri. Recall that community leaders and the victim's family have pleaded with the state governor to exercise his prerogative of mercy to pardon Jackson. The governor signed the pardon on Monday, granting the clemency under Section 212 of the Nigerian Constitution. Jackson, who spent over a decade in custody, was attacked on his farm in 2015, leading to a fatal altercation, and his case sparked national debate over self-defense rights and justice.
Okay. When that case came up, in fact, Jackson was in his farm because I followed the case. Just like I followed the case of the guy they said that stole a fowl in Ekiti, and he was sentenced to, I hope you remember the story. So Jackson was in his farm on that fateful day. A herder came in with his cows. He saw Jackson in his farm and started uprooting or cassava or corn or whatever and was feeding them and gave them to his animal. And the man said, why should you do this? the header drew sword and stabbed Jackson, and they fought. Jackson overpowered him, took the sword from him or knife or whatever, and stabbed him severally. And the man was rushed to hospital. Eventually, he died. And the case was taken to court. I think he was sentenced to death by hanging by one justice, Fatima, of Adamawa State High Court or something. And people were asking, this man was in his farm. The header came by with his animals. Thank God for what Fintiri did. Thank God for what he did. Because the sentence was a mockery of justice. Remember, this man did not attack the header. The header brought his cow to his own farm to tell you the impunity of these people. And you saw the man in the farm. I had the same case. A friend of mine, the woman is now late. He had a rice farm somewhere in Oyo State here. Herders took their cow to her farm, ate up everything. They knew it was rice. They ate up everything. When they took the matter to police, do you know what they said? They will give the ones 6,000. To tell you how these people have brought Nigerians to a level of whereby we don't even have right again to do anything.
Hello.
Hello, good morning, beautiful lady woman.
Good morning, sir. Mr. Benga Mario.
Thank you very much. My name is Benga Mario calling from Apata. Good morning, sir, Mr. Chukwemeka.
Good morning, Benga.
I think I am happy with what Governor Pintiri did as well, because I've been following that particular story for a while now. And self-defense is part of one's rights in this country. If somebody wants to kill me, the person is holding a gun and is trying to shoot me, and I am opportune to dodge the bullet. And if I have the willpower to overpower him in the process, and he lost his life, I think I need not to be to be in prison. But thank God for what has happened in the life of that guy, because what would have happened if the Fulani guy has succeeded in killing the guy? I'm telling you that the Fulani killer now will be roaming the street free as a free man. Nobody's going to arrest him. Recall during the period of Buhari, how many Fulani others that killed innocent Nigerians, innocent farmers on their farmland, how many of them were being arrested? How many of them were being prosecuted? Then you are calling on Buhari's then that you should try and that I want to know the number of Fulani others that were arrested. None. But thank God for this issue of this guy. And lastly, on the issue of the tax reform, I think the tax reform is creating a kind of chaos in the country. And I want to lend my voice as well to what Atiku said, the former vice president, that the tax reform should be placed on hold for now, not until when we have a right one that was being signed by the lawmakers, not the doctored one. We don't want the doctored tax reform, but we want the one that was being signed, jointly signed by the lawmakers. Thank you very much, and God bless Nigeria.
All right, thank you so much, Mr.
So I am so happy that Adamawa Governor Fintiri did the right thing. You understand? I'm happy because if Jackson had been killed, that would be a travesty of justice.
All right, on Facebook, Suleiman Sharif says, good morning and kudos to everyone. Makinde has said it all. Federal might suppress oppositions so that President Tinubu will contest without a tough opponent. If President Tinubu is sure of performing well, it should allow opposition to exist. If PDP has known Nigeria will celebrate one-party system and APC wouldn't have come into existence, this is a negative precedent. And it went ahead to say the message is clear. Wike promised President Tinubu and it will hold down the PDP till after 2027 elections. However, two issues are on ground. Wike acting a stumbling block to cripple PDP resuscitation, to allow for one party-driven 2027 presidential ballot, and Makinde insisting on having a formidable democracy-inclined opposition for 2027 presidential race. All right, thank you so much. Thank you also, Olasinde Habib Kamadukwe. It's time for us to go.
It's time for us to go. Thank you, Tolu, for having me. God bless Nigeria.
Amen. Thank you so much to everyone who has been a part of the show this morning. As I would always say, wherever it is that you find yourself, always ensure that you put Nigeria out there in good light. God bless you. God bless Nigeria. I am Toluwaleke Alli.
89.3 FM, your preferred Wholesome Radio.
Please listen to this important information. The views expressed by the interviewee in this